Hey guys, Blakey here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my first time 3D modelling, which was actually this week, and the last week is my first experience with proper 3D modelling. And think of this video as a little bit of a story time, I guess. So I thought I'd just make a video talking about my first experience with 3D modelling, just to make those of you who 3D model consistently laugh, I guess, and those of you who haven't ever got into 3D modelling before, maybe this can push you into doing it, because funnily enough, my first experience is, I would say, positive. Others would probably say it's negative, but you know, here we are. So when I first got into 3D modelling, the reason I did is because I wanted to, as a lot of you know if you've watched a few of my previous videos, I've made two 2D games, and I've got a third 2D game coming out, and potentially a fourth, but there's nothing confirmed yet. And I'm feeling a little bit restricted so far, and I want to get into more 3D games. Some of you will know this already, like I said. So I thought, you know what, instead of getting a 3D modeler, let's use it as an opportunity to learn a new program. And when it comes to 3D modeling, there's quite a few you can choose from, such as so we've got 3ds Max, you've got Maya, can we use Maya for that? I don't know. And Blender. And Blender is the one I've used before because, okay, so this is where it gets, there's a bit of a fine line. My first time 3D modeling was technically months and months ago, and I literally made, if you know Blender Guru, he made a tutorial on a donut. I done that tutorial, got halfway through and it wasn't working, so I gave up and I haven't touched it since. I couldn't make a donut and it made me sad, so I quit. But here we are again. We've done a full circle apparently, but this time it's actually gone quite well, because the route I'm taking when it comes to 3D modeling is low poly. I've made 3 low poly models, and I'm planning on making more. I don't actually have a solid game idea in place for these low poly models, but I do want to get one started because I'm actually really enjoying making them, and I think it's a good introduction into 3D modeling, because it's fairly easy to learn and it's a good way to learn the interface without doing too much big scary stuff. So the first thing that I made was, I followed this tutorial by the YouTuber CG Geek. His tutorial was really good, even though it was slightly outdated for the version of Blender I was using, and it was this little I guess it is it is little actually, anyway. This island that has a few tiny little trees, and I learned a lot about it because I thought the water looks really cool, as you can see, and it's got like a nice glossy like water effect, and like I added some post-processing at the end, which, you know, I love post-processing if you watch my Unity and tutorials and stuff. And I thought it was really fun to make. Like, obviously because it's my first model, it was quite tough in some parts, but once I learnt the most of it, I've been able to make a few more models with a lot less help, and I think that's massively helped. So the next thing I've done after this, I was on Google and I typed in low poly islands or low poly models or something like that, and I found this pink rocky island which has like a few trees and a few mountains on it, and I fell in love. Like, it was just such a nice low poly image, and I was like, mate, I have to make this. So I got to work. It took me a while, but I was really happy because I've done it with like virtually no tutorials, and it actually ended up coming out really, really well, as you can see on the screen. Yet again, I tried to add a few visual effects on the end to make the image look nice. If you're wondering where you want to see all these images, go ahead and follow my Instagram. It will be up on screen right now, and if it's not, it's because I'm lazy and I'm stupid and I forgot, and it will most definitely be in the description because it always is. Finally, the third model that I have made in Blender is a gun model, a low poly gun, and this one I'm actually quite happy with, considering it's much more simplistic than the first two, purely because I made this with absolutely no help at all. Like the second island that I made, if I needed a tutorial, I did like look it up for like a particular like hotkey or how to do this or that, whereas with the gun I'm pretty sure, I think the one thing I looked up was how to insert an edge. Like insert a vertex on an edge, sorry, because I wanted to like drag out part of the gun, which you can probably like see for the end of the model. But yeah, it did end up coming out pretty cool, and I was actually really happy with it in the end. One issue that I did have when starting out of the 3D modelling is because I wanted to do low poly, and CG Geek mentioned this in his video, is actually painting the models can be really tough when it comes to low poly, because if you like use a brush, it's not like tied to the low poly. You want like that 2D colouring, like flat faces. It's kind of a hard concept to explain, but like each face has its own solid colour. Like, there's no blends of colours. in each phase. He found a way to do it, which I thought was really cool, and I followed that. But when I dragged the island into both Unity and Unreal Engine, the material wasn't working at all, so it took me a solid couple of days to figure out the best way of doing it. And I found the best way of doing it for low poly models like this is create a material and just select the faces that you want to paint that material with. And I found that's the best way of doing it, because when I drag it into Unity, I've got all of those separate materials that I can change myself and stuff like that, and Unreal Engine as well, because when it comes to these 3D models, I'll probably be using Unreal Engine a lot more, because when it comes to 3D programming, I'm a lot better with the blueprints of Unreal Engine rather than the code of Unity. But maybe that'll change in the future. So yeah, once I solidified how to make materials, I went back to my island that I wanted to import, and I just started getting to work on making some cool materials for the pink rocky one and its trees and stuff. And I was just learning about efficiency and putting different objects together to optimize performance in Unreal Engine and Unity and stuff like that. And when I did that, I managed to drag them into Unreal Engine and actually make a nice little prototype first-person game. Another issue that I did have, though, this is with both game engines, was when you drag them into the game engine, seeing the lighting issues. Now, I swear to God, every model that I've worked with, whether I've made it or not, I have stress with lighting issues. So one thing that I was learning about is UV wrapping and unwrapping and stuff like that, and this is a concept that I struggled to get my head around, but now that I've learned it, I'm really starting to understand it a lot more, but I still do struggle with wrapping it. I'm going to try and explain it now. So UV unwrapping a mesh is basically cutting the mesh up and flattening it out on a bit of paper, so you can apply image textures and stuff like that. So when you can put a picture onto this flat texture, it will and you kind of put this mesh back together, it makes the texture not be stretched on different parts of the mesh and stuff like that, which I think is pretty cool, and it's a lot better to learn early on rather than trying to learn it later on when you've got like tons of models with different lighting issues and stuff. Once I had all of these technical issues out of the way, the final thing that I've done in Blender since prior to this video is make a very short animation for my gun, which I'm going to be showing on screen right now. So I was actually really happy with this. I didn't expect it to go this well. So all it is, it's like a really basic recoil, like a literal like fetus could make this and probably make it look better than me, but all it does, it just cocks the gun back every time you shoot, and it kind of, instead of just going back forward, it kind of rotates 360 degrees. I thought it was just a cool thing to add some flair to this like really simple prototype game I have, and I was actually really happy with how it did come out in the end. But apart from that, guys, that's pretty much everything I've done with 3D modelling so far. That is my initial experience. Let me know in the comments if you guys have done 3D modelling before. Let me know how it's gone, and we can have a little chat about that down below. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I've got tons of tutorials on Unity and a few other videos about games and stuff, so if you're into all that, feel free to go to my channel. Go ahead and subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed, comment what tutorials or other videos you want to see me do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.